machine is most musical, involves a plethora of musical components that sway with the drunken unsteadiness of a gigantic jigsaw puzzle that has no backing or support for its pieces, and at any moment the pieces threaten to collapse in a total dissolution that will be final and unalterable. The machine is composed completely on devices used to kill men in medieval warfare. It looks like a metallic harvest of the prickly pear and the durian, welded together by a madman who is wearing contact lenses without protective goggles and has welded the corneas of his eyes to them. As soon as he completes the job, he will take out the lenses and the innards of his eyes with them and be blind. The machine is heir to the property of the human race, and as such has evolved within its myriad components a complicated and elegant gauge in the form of a clock, one which would, if a comparison were made, put the complicated precision movements of the Swiss to shame, and it is constantly setting and resetting in anticipation of the doom of its masters. The machine is a canopied seat on the elephant's thick-skinned back, only the elephant has died in his tracks and is now a mummy giving sustenance to a host of myriad creature life. And as each peeling flake of mummified hide falls from the elephant, the machine emits a scream which has the character of a swarm of oversized red butcher ants caught up and struggling amid the torn strings of a philharmonic orchestra. This machine is a liberated construction of itself, and meant to be so by design. Its sole intrinsic function is to gather the essential data, documentation, knowledge and expertise to multiply its kind, and in the exact same format, with the exact same end, and this task is to be carried out to ultimate and unaccountable manner. The machine is of a disposition to be singular and alone unto itself. For every full moon, as if by magic, great spines of metal appear, and every wheel screams as they are impaled upon them. After this occurrence, the machine sits down to a hearty meal, later reclines and tries to control its recalcitrant movements. The machine is a carnivore and dotes upon the luxury of meat eating. It is devised along the lines of a Venus flytrap plant, only it does not use an enmeshing trap or hinged spines to capture its prey, but an abundance upon abundance of dials and gauges, which must be read. The victim goes quietly in the end, amid visions of numerical and technical deafness at dead because of their plenty and cornucopia, as if injected with curare. The machine is a lacuna in the historical development of machinery. It has, as if required of it, a visage, in the form of the most basic of metal components, and it lazily stands in the fields like an overaged whore and chews grasses. The machine is used solely for executions, and contained therein on black steel walls displayed with preeminent grace. In the Sandersie Museum are all the devices of the trade, and as each member of the human race awaits singly, in prolepsis, upon the impaled iron ramp, there comes the regular sounds, with accompanying intervals of the machine's function being sated. The machine is largely conceived of bizarre insect forms, which having been cast in the goldsmith shop bear something of his avarice. If one moves close to the machine for the purpose of inspection, the gong loudly resounds, and the insects then begin to devour each other in a furor, leaving in the end only one large shining orficulous insect, iridescent and with a smile of digestion. The machine's owner is then required to send his messenger boy to the goldsmiths for replacements. The machine of perpetual motion defies description. However, somewhere in its inert core are lying the past, the present, and the future, and with this trio are involved in a polygraphy which open gaping jaws and rampant genitalia that is prosaic and competent to the point of cold-bloodedness, for which there is no reprehensibility. The machine appears and disappears with relish, and one is liable to find oneself encumbered with it at the most inappropriate and inopportune of times, or alternatively, grow so fond of it that its disappearance comes as a catastrophic blow. The machine gathers waters, and does so with a blatant efficiency, and everywhere that it goes, or it is most marble and acutely so, it desiccates. The waters are then recycled through its complex apparatus involving a myriad of pipes, pumps, tubes, retorts, distillation devices, and returned neatly bottled and labelled to the entity, geography, substance, device, growth, organism, thing from whence it originally was taken. The machine is for festive occasions and can produce all the appropriate and required commodities and paraphernalia for the pomp, a total repertoire of musics and songs, an unlimited supply of costume and apparel, an unbounded supplies of foods and drinks. However, its awareness is such that it does not recognize a celebration, and so lies rusting silently in the middle of a vacant field. The machine has some vitality. In fact, it vibrates emotions with something of the intent and adeptness of the Medjugorje's whore. Yet paradoxically, although its many wheels are apparent and easily discerned, it seems not to be the substance for the great thrusts and motions that it will make, as the far, far greater portion of the wheels seem to be disconnected and discreet, and involve a momentum that is both laconic and rather of the tame, a good-humoured bicycle relaxing on a Sunday afternoon. Perhaps the great generation of the intensity can be shuffled quickly under the label mystery, and thereby avoid any spasms that may interfere with its gears. And again I was looking at the eyes of the head, and the eyes which I had fallen in love with which were like black cockroaches, silenced forever, were gone in their place were swirling corkscrews, boring at a silver storm. And I looked down because they made me feel cold, and on the ground were two broken cockroaches, and they were being devoured by red ants. And it occurred to me very quickly and lightly like a kiss that I was coming to know the head and in me. Something began to talk in my sleep. Something began to talk in the black hairs inside my head, in the black place, where it is like a frozen stomach, where it is a joyous place, where it is a black place, where little specks of light are eaten by the darkness. This beginning of talking was most strange, because in this black place there has not been talking or sound, not even the beginning of talking. At first I couldn't comprehend. It was not like sound at all. If anything, it was like thought. The stops and starts of the sound were like mercury metals, and they ran wet but dry, warm but not living, without legs around the warm walls of the black place. They made the airs cold and showed themselves angrily as thousands of silver lights like bats' lights. I began to drown. I felt sick. There was a crack like a piece of thin glass or mirror breaking, and now for the first time I saw that the black place had floor, had limit, and on this floor was a luminous body very small, which was what was left of the quick joy of the place. And slowly I woke to the sound of an angry voice in my head, and after shaking the voice to dust and feeling my limbs in their stiff life, I looked to the head. I was slow in my thought because of the dissolving sleep, and because of the little creature of change that was crawling and hurting my skin, because it had not been put there by me, because now the head had lips. The lips moved like moving wet cloth that contained something. I did a small dance in the air of the morning, and seeing the shovel, dug a small hole in the ground in honor of the skull now possessing lips. As I slept, later I was sleeping in myself. Then I began to dream. The head came out onto a stage. There were musicians and theatre lighting, and a small luminous body to give the head mobility. The head began to tap dance. It would stop and bang a cane against the black silk top hat, and looked at me, and I would applaud feverishly, the joys rising inside of me like a thick incense. The dream never finished nor journeyed, for I found myself no longer looking at the hat of black silk, but now closed looking at the black of the night, and finding the stars like blind men. This colour's changing all the time in size, slightly, it's not going in a direction. It's ultimately getting no bigger or no smaller. But this change, now I have seen, is like a music that is made on a big, pure silver or fine instrument, a music that is of water as if planets were revolving and orbiting in water. This is most strange because I would say, now that the head's element is fire, and there is not anything about it that reflects light, not its sweat making on it beads, which do so because of the sun or the moon, because it never sweats. At first I did not know the changing. I thought perhaps that it was some fallacy in my eyes to see this in different sizes. When I looked, but I tested my eyes with other things that were, and they did not change size to my eyes. So then I knew it was the head, and then I knew it was a music.